Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Cut. Started at 207, now down to 203. So we're about 4 pounds down overall. 3 weeks into the cut, things are starting to come together. I'm going to show you guys a physique update and also talk about how to diet while running and lifting, the do's and the don'ts of hybrid training. So yeah, let's get into it. So just got to the trailhead. Right now we're doing 5 miles a day. So we got 5 miles on schedule this morning. Bad day to be smiles. Let's get after it. Just wrapped up a 5 mile run at a 7:59 minute per mile pace. Well, look at my hat. Yeah, so run done. Now I've been doing 5 miles a day lately, and it's felt the best for me to like recover from my weight training and my lifting. But it's one of those things that if I go over 5 miles, like I could, but it's gonna take away from my weight training and my building muscle, which I enjoy just as much as running. So it's like, find that mileage that you can do consistently, whether that's 4 times a week or 6 times a week. Now let me preface, I don't run 7 days a week, I run 6 days a week. So whatever that mileage is for you, or if you want to do less, that's completely fine. But that's what I find works best for me. 5 miles 6 times a week. Maybe on the weekend I'll go 7 to 8. But what I want to talk about is during that run, had this thought, and I like sharing you guys with this run thought and like something that you guys can carry along with as you guys watch me cut and you do this journey with me, or you watch me go throughout this journey. Is too many times when we start something, whether that be a diet, a prep for anything, or you know, you're chasing a goal in your job, business, you forget about chopping the wood and carrying the water. For example, you focus on the end goal of building the house or building the business or building your physique, but you don't fall in love with the process of chopping the wood and carrying the water and doing the things that it takes to build that house and to build that foundation, right? And what it teaches you, and what I want to really emphasize, is that saying chop wood and carry water means that you must do the small things in life and fall in love with the process and enjoy it and realize that is going to get you to where you want to be. It might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, it might be 2 months, it might be 3 months, it might be 20 years. But if you don't fall in love with those core principles of chopping wood and carry water, you're never going to be able to have and reach that destination. You see, with social media and this generation, and I'm in the generation, but I look at my father, my grandfather, they woke up every single day and they did the small things, and that's what led them to accomplish the things they did. But they fell in love with the process, because the process is what makes you, right? Michael Jordan wouldn't be Michael Jordan if he didn't fall in love with going to the practice sessions and absolutely giving everything he had in those practice sessions. He wouldn't be Michael Jordan, but he got to that destination because he fell in love with the process of basketball, and that's how he became the GOAT, right? So like, I just want you guys to think about that. It's not the shredded six pack. It's not all the money in the world. Like, it's not that. It's the process that you gotta love and you gotta enjoy, and that's what life's about. Like, I wouldn't want to pick a warrior to go into war with me if he just studied war, if he was one of those professionals that study something. I want the guy that actually went into war, the true warrior, not the guy who studied the war. I want that guy next to me in life, right? Because he's been through it. He's went through the process. He understands what it takes. So just realize that, like, you got to go through the process in order to get to that destination. And with this cut, you got to be willing to chop wood, carry water, do the small things in and out every single day in order to get your goal physique. Too many people, they see the goal physique and they're like, I want that now. It doesn't come now. I've been building muscle for 8, 9, 10 years, and it's taken me this long, and I love it. I don't care if I don't get there tomorrow. I don't care if I don't get there ever. Like, I love working out. I love training. You gotta fall in love with the fucking process. That's what it's about. It's not not about the destination. The destination is a byproduct of doing the work, and that's great. But the work is the reward because that gives you the destination or the goal. So fall in love with the process, and yeah, chop wood, carry water every day. Do the small things, fall in love with it, and realize that is what gets you to your dream, not thinking about it or studying it. Just do it. If the house is burning, don't worry about where the fire started. Just get out of the house, which means just start the damn thing and do it. All right. So 5 miles in the bag. Now this watch is $200 off. It's in my, you have to use the link in my bio, but Garmin Epix is $200 off. It's a short time sale for like a month, but that's the watch I use. If you want to look at it, in the description below. Truck right there, over there, he ran out of gas trying to climb the hill, and now he's just stuck there. Jeez. Now that, my friends, is a good example of what it looks like if you were a truck and you didn't fuel properly and eat enough protein. You get stuck on the hill. We are back from the run. I'm going to show you guys what I have before I work a little bit. So what we got here is our protein coffee to recover. So essentially this is going to be 1 scoop of cinnamon roll whey protein. This is the best flavor. They brought back the OG flavor, and honestly I didn't really like the flavor, the last flavor that they had, but the original flavor is back and it's amazing. It tastes like cinnamon toast crunch, but I added some cinnamon into it. So I'm going to blend this up, add some sugar-free syrup and a little bit of stevia, and then we got the coffee right here. And yeah, going to blend it all up and have that post-workout to recover. You know, I'll say this and I'll stand by it. Better than Starbucks, and if you don't like Starbucks, it's better than Dairy Queen or any milkshake. It tastes like a milkshake, literally. Protein coffee, cinnamon roll, protein coffee. So you get anabolic after the run, you recover, use the restroom, and tastes amazing. What else could you ask for? I'm good with a protein coffee over like anything. It's just, I could change my last name to this. So. So good. All right, so I even got the approval of the protein coffee from Brittany. What was that out of 10?
Probably like 9. The added cinnamon helps it a lot.
Yeah, it tastes like cinnamon toast crunch. You guys can, if I'm wrong, seriously, you guys, I'll give you $1. Maybe. So the first meal is right here. It is 12 o'clock. So we're going to have first meal after our protein coffee and run. Right here is the toppings is reduced fat, feta cheese, can of green beans, and then I'm going to add some white cheddar popcorn seasoning just to make it taste better. But in here it's 8 ounces of ground beef. I eat a pound of ground beef a day, and then it's 200 grams of rice and green beans, everything you saw, peppers. Yeah. Gonna dig in. So this is gonna be, I'll show you guys my next workout meal, but this is one of my favorites. Now, if you're from Pennsylvania or you're corn fed, I don't know if this is just a Pennsylvania thing, but I put ketchup on everything almost, except for, you know, weird shit like pancakes. I'm not doing that, but I put on my eggs, mac and cheese, beef and rice. So I'm gonna add some ketchup as well. Ketchup on everything. I used to have a shirt that says I put ketchup on my ketchup. That's literally me. Pre-workout meal right here. So what's in it is gonna be 1 scoop of vegan protein oatmeal cookie, one of my favorites. Now I get questions because, well, let me just say what's in this bowl first. So it's that 1 scoop, 0 sugar free yogurt, and then it's 1 apple, cinnamon on top, sugar free syrup, and then some blueberries. I know you guys are wondering, am I a vegan? No. Am I carnivore? No. I like meat. Don't clip that. I like meat. I like red meat. I like eggs. I like protein. I enjoy all different kinds of food. Not one party, because at the end of the day, it all comes down to energy in and energy out. The more you over energy your body, the fatter you get. If you're not burning energy, like I said, if you're just filling that diesel truck with diesel in the parking lot, it's not going anywhere. That shit is just all coming out all over the truck onto the parking lot. Instead of going into the parking lot onto the floor, all that excess fat goes in your stomach. So energy in versus energy out. I just track my calories. Not very strictly, ballpark it, but it works for me, and that's data. You know, I don't like to base my knowledge and eating off of feelings. I like it to be based off of science and data, because I know it works, right? Takes the feelings and emotional side out of it. It works for me. So yeah, this is going to be pre-workout meal. Got our carbs, got our protein. It's going to be a wild day for weights. Feeling pretty damn good. So it's going to be a good day. All right, the do's and the don'ts of hybrid training. Let's get into this shit. So the first is going to be, don't be in too much of a deficit. The reason why I say this is because the more of the deficit, the harder it is to find motivation to go to the gym, the harder it is to have vitality. You want to be in a deficit that it feels comfortable, a little uncomfort. I like to say manage discomfort, and that is how you go in a deficit. It should be manageable discomfort. Not every day you wake up, every hour should be uncomfortable, but you should have periods where it is uncomfortable because you are in a deficit. But you can't look at that as a negative lens. You're in a deficit, you want to lose fat. That's part of the process. Get used to it. It's part of being hungry. That's normal to be hungry. You can't be fully fed all the time. Like that, you're just not made to be that way. That's how you get fat. That's how you store fat, right? You want to be a little hungry sometimes. I know that's going to sound a little triggering to some people, but it's the reality of it, especially in a deficit. You got to remind yourself, I'm not going to die. This is hunger. This is normal, right? What's my goal? To lose weight? I'm going to feel hungry. So embrace it. Now, with that being said, I say not too large of a deficit, because that hunger will be unmanageable and very uncomfortable if you're in too big of a deficit. And I like to say anywhere from 500 to 700 feels the best for me. But anything over 1,000 is just, in my opinion, way too much of a deficit, because your body keeps score, right? It's going to feel that. I like to say that analogy, like imagine you're at the beach. Say someone walks in with a shovel. They shovel out a little bit of sand each day. They just take a shovel, and nobody really notices the sand being lost on the beach because you're just going in with a shovel, but you're still losing sand on the beach. Now imagine if someone came in with a dump truck and filled up a whole dump truck worth of sand, left the beach. The next day you come to the beach, you're like, what the shit? Look at this huge hole. The body's the same way. It sees that huge deficit. The way it does that is it counters your NEAT, your vitality. NEAT is pretty much how much you move throughout the day, how much energy you have to do to work, to give to your relationship, to give to your friends and family. That all decreases because your body keeps score, and that deficit is too high, and it will be very uncomfortable. So just understand, more is not better when it comes to the deficit, and especially when it comes to hybrid training, because you are going to be burning a good amount of calories as you're running. And so that little rule of thumb, stick to 500 to 700 calorie deficit and just rock that until you get to your goal. And if you plateau, drop the calories a little more and go from there. But I don't think anything like 1,000 and above is necessary. The next thing I want to go to is creating that deficit. Do not pull from carbs. If you pull from carbs, essentially what that's going to do is it's going to pull the glycogen and deplete your glycogen stores. For example, when you eat carbs, your muscles fill up with glycogen, glucose. And when your muscles are full of glycogen, they can perform and contract and push high intensity. Glycogen is a very high intensity burning fuel. So when you think of track workouts, when you think of even running, if you're running for a long period of time, you will use carbohydrates, especially weight training. It's very glycolytic, which means you're burning a lot of carbohydrates. So if you pull your carbs down and your fats are still high, you're going to feel flat in the gym and you're not going to have the best of workouts. This is from my experience and most athletes that lift and run from who I've talked to, and what I've researched. So keep those carbs as high as you can, and also keep that protein at least 1 gram per pound of body weight, 1 to 1.1 to 1.2, and then pull those fats down. Those fats are where the majority of the deficit comes from. Now, if it's hard to pull those fats down to unreasonable level, you can bring the carbs down a little, but make sure those carbs are still higher than the fats, because that's going to help your workouts. So for that overall general message, that 500-700 calorie deficit, make sure a majority of it comes from fats and a little bit of carbs if you need to. My next tip is give the muscle a reason to stay and don't half-ass it in the gym. So when you're in a deficit, it's important to give the muscle a reason to stay. You want to train with intensity/overload. I firmly believe, now this is from my experience, all this is from my experience, but you get the most muscle retention and hardness and look, that 3D look, from training heavy. You give the signal to your brain and, in my opinion, to your body that, wow, this is a heavy amount of load, intensity, we need to keep this muscle on. Whereas if you're just training volume, going through the motions, I personally believe the muscle doesn't have that message as strong as it would as if you really overload the muscle and train hard. So how I like to set this up is I do 2 sets per exercise. You'll see after this little portion here when we go weight train how I do that. Do 2 sets per exercise and then do 4 exercises for each muscle group. So if you're hitting, a pull session, say you're doing back and biceps, do 4 exercises of 2 sets for back, 4 exercises of 2 sets for arms. That's how I like to split it up. That's what works best for me. But in those 2 sets, I give everything I have, and I float around from 7 reps to, maybe 10. But I train with a high amount of weight and intensity. Now, the last thing I have for the don'ts is don't run your runs hard. Run them easy. I like to say run to vibe, not to die. So just go out, because right now you're in a deficit. You want to run low and slow just because it's good for aerobic building. And also, if you're not in a speed session, there really is no pressure to run at a certain pace, right? Just go out there and vibe, have a good time, enjoy the nature, like throw on a podcast, listen to something, and just focus on burning the calories, burning or getting to the mileage that you want to get to, and just enjoy it. Like, too many people get obsessed with the number of the running and they fall out of love with the whole, hey, I'm just out here pushing myself and enjoying it. Don't look too much into the data. You'll get lost in it. I promise, it's happened before. If your goal is to get lean, just focus on getting lean and use running as something to clear your mind and just have fun with it. Don't put too much pressure on it. At the end of the day, you're doing it because you love it, not because of any other reason, right? The mental benefits. And that's what running and vibing and having a long run feels like, right? You're just in the moment. It sucks, but you're overcoming things. These messages are in your head and you're just getting a lot of clarity. That's what running slow and vibing to me is. So I think all your training should be like that when you're trying to get lean. As soon as you start to increase that heart rate and really train hard on your runs, it takes away from your weight training. It's almost like if you pull a rubber band back, you'll get the opposite direction. So you really pull into your running, the opposite thing is going to happen to your weight training. You're going to be tanked. You're going to suffer. It's going to be really hard, especially in a deficit. So like I said, vibe out there. Don't try to die. So that's going to be my last tip for the don'ts, and a good heart rate for that would be Maffetone method. I know I always say this, but it just works. 180 minus your age, keep your heart rate at that, and just have fun out there. There's no stress, just vibe. Now the do's of hybrid training in a cut is going to be find your maintenance calories. Once you find your maintenance calories, that will give you the idea of where to start that deficit. Like I said, subtract 500 to 700, you'll be in a perfect range. Pull from mostly fats, and then you can pull a little from carbs if those fats get too low to create that deficit. Like I said again, I know I'm on repeat, but it's so important. Make sure that protein's at 1 gram per pound of body weight to recover and also keep you satiated. And then as far as diet goes, I'm preaching so much about diet because it is the most important thing. The reason why you don't look the way you want to mostly is because you either don't have enough muscle or because you're not eating the proper caloric intake. Because I always say, if you have a Ferrari sitting in a garage and there's a cover over top of the Ferrari, when that cover's over the top of the Ferrari, at a glance, you might even think it's a sedan. You have no idea. Like it could be anything, but when you pull that cover off, you see the intricate details of the car, and you can see, the logo, you can see the designs, you can see the intricacy of the car, the engine specs. Like, that is what happens when you get lean. And a lot of people don't get lean because they don't control their caloric intake, their energy. They overeat the energy, which means the body consumes it and holds a cover over your body, almost like a car, like I said. And the only way to strip that off is to be in a deficit. So that comes from calories and monitoring that deficit and staying consistent with it. The way you should set up your diet in terms of quality is 90% whole foods. And I'm going to just random list. If you haven't watched my grocery haul, it's like 2 videos down on the cut. But essentially what it is red meat, chicken, eggs, egg whites, a little bit of dark chocolate, pancake mix, oatmeal, and what else? Potatoes, rice, sugar-free syrup, things like that. Just now, is that all whole foods? No, but 90% of it is. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to show you guys after this what my diet looks like. I've showed you guys my meals throughout the day so far, but I'm going to show you guys what my diet looks like at night, where I fit that 10% that keeps me on plan, that keeps me satiated, because I do believe in eating whole foods, but you can't just eat as much as you want, because at the end of the day, you can't overload your body with energy that you don't end up burning, and essentially that's what leads to fat gain, right? There's no bad food necessarily, but whole foods are going to fill you up, they're going to make you feel good, and then that little 10% is going to help you adhere to the diet. So yeah, with that being said, overall takeaway, make sure you're in a caloric deficit anywhere from 500 to 700, maintain that, stay consistent, and then when you're going to pull from a macronutrient, pull from fats and then carbs. This is what works for me. Like I said, you may be different, but this is my experience because hypertraining is very glycolytic. And yeah, that's that. So with that being said, let's go weight train. We're going to train heavy, like I said, 2 sets per exercise, and just really get after it. So we got pool day, so bad day to be weight. I'll see you guys there. All right, so we are doing a pool day. Again, walk you guys through my pool workout, so back and biceps today. Let's get after it. So I'm going to start out with a compound movement, 2 compound movements, and pretty much just going as much intensity as I can. And that's been my favorite way of training, honestly, in my entire life. So yeah, going to walk you guys through that. 2 intense sets for around like 8 to 10. So let's get into it. Weeks into the cut. Gonna show you guys the first physique update. So this is what we're looking like. definitely have some more fat to lose. I'd say we're around like 15%. So yeah, doing pretty good. But this is 2 weeks into the cut, so this is what we're looking like. Just a reference range, first physique update. But definitely want to get leaner and lighter for our next event. So yeah. Alright, so just finished up a back workout. We got a solid pump. But no, we are 2 weeks into the diet. Things kind of start off, you know, a lot of people get frustrated because you're not going to see a lot of changes in 2 weeks, let alone a month, right? After a month, you start seeing the consistency compound, and change happens when consistency compounds. That's what it is. That's what fat loss is. It's not one day of dieting. It's not 1 week of dieting. It's multiple weeks, multiple days, thousands of days, seconds stacked upon each other to get you to that goal. So don't get frustrated. Right now, I don't look much different from when I started, but I know it will change. I know slowly it's stripping away. Body fat doesn't just come right off the abs. It's through, you know, your arms, through your legs. It doesn't pick a certain spot. Everybody loses it differently, so trust the process. And yeah, with that being said, let's go back, have some dinner, and catch up. Yeah, see you guys then. It's pancake time, but before we go into pancake time, I'm going to show you guys what I have for dinner. So what you guys just saw there was 93% lean beef, 350 grams of potatoes, and then it was also some green beans and carrots, and then 70 grams of avocado. Now I like having my fats towards the end of the day as it keeps me satiated to the beef and then the avocado, and then I say potatoes because it's more satiating. So yeah, let's have a pancake night. Come hang out. The stove is cooking up. Welcome to pancake night. What we got here, just show you guys 1 scoop of whey protein, blueberry. I'm gonna make blueberry pancakes. I use this Birch Benders, super clean, minimally processed, just whole wheat flour, organic, cane sugar, and just that's pretty much it. So very clean. 60 grams of pancake mix, 1 scoop of whey protein, and then we have 1 egg, 150 grams of egg whites. And we're gonna cook this up, take you guys on a pancake night, blueberry pancake night. So let's do it. Pancake night. Pancake night. We're eating up. Pancake night is going down. Now I might have used a little too much syrup, sugar-free syrup of course, but this is what they're looking like. Thank you guys for watching the YouTube video. If you want more sick recipes, maybe a pancake full day of eating, like I eat protein pancakes for every meal, maybe that'll be the next YouTube video. But day or episode 4 of the cut, getting real, getting lean, and she is making some pancakes. But yeah, we're gonna watch probably whatever show she puts on. We've been watching, what is it, the marriage one? Married at First Sight. That's a wild experience. Anyways, we're gonna watch some Netflix, eat our pancakes, and when you know, you know. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, stay corn fed. That's getting real, baby. See you guys in the next one.